Allie is here. Allie Rae. Here's what's funny. When you do a search on you on Facebook, there's several Allie Raes.
Yeah.
You're at the top.
Oh, okay.
The second one is a deja vu choker. Just saying.
You know, funny you should point that out. There is actually a porn star by the name of Allie Rae, and I didn't know that until
No relation.
Like no relation at all.
Yeah.
Like no
royalties or anything.
Nothing. The only
Okay.
reason I went with Allie Rae is because I used to be a singer in Cincinnati, and I did the national anthem at a bunch of events.
Okay. Well.
And it was a lot easier to roll it off the tongue than Allie Olsen. Like even I have to think
Olsen is
Olsen's my last name.
name.
Yes. But I, as a singer, just went by my first and middle name.
I'm assuming you don't have a twin,
I
so
don't,
we can't
no.
call you the Olsen twins.
No,
Okay.
I don't.
Okay. Well, you and I connected a few months ago, and a lot of it, well, actually, the reason was your association with here.
Yes.
As I do my podcast every Tuesday night at Baxter's 942 in the Highlands. I love this place. Heather, who was here at the time, had said, you got to reach out to Allie Rae and get her on the podcast. She'll be a fun guest. And I'm like, okay. So when I did my research, the millennial girl of Millennial LLC. I'm not a millennial. I'm too old to be a millennial. But you are. And the millennials are kind of like pushing their own agenda right now.
Yes.
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
No.
I'm okay with generation changes. Change can be good when done the right way. A lot of the older people are a little scared of change.
A little bit, yeah.
Especially old white men in Congress. But I digress. But I want to get to know you more. Background, because you, a little before the podcast started, you mentioned you have dual.
I have dual citizenship to the United States and to Norway.
Norway.
My dad is born and raised full-blooded Norwegian. He works for a cruise line, has for going on 30 years now. And he met my mom. She was a travel agent, and they got together 28 years ago, maybe longer. I don't know. And so it used to be that a child of a citizen of Norway had to live in Norway in order to be considered a dual citizen. But that changed about 10 years ago, and I went through the process and got my citizenship. It was a long road, a lot of mailing letters back and forth and requesting and proving that I had been over there enough time.
You can do this online?
Some of it we could type up an email, but it was a consulate and embassy, and you had to,
But how long had you been away from Norway?
So I was born here, but
you were born? Okay.
Yes.
Right.
So I was born here. So my mom lived in Miami before she had me, and then moved home.
Okay.
And
Home is in
here.
Here.
So she has family in Covington, Kentucky.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
where she's from. And so after I was born, I mean, I've bounced back and forth. I've traveled to like numerous countries, places with what my dad does for his job. And I've spent some time over in Norway. I lived in Finland for like 7 months in high school, and
wow.
my dad's family still
Before
lives
Ballard.
over there. During Ballard.
Oh,
So I went to
okay.
Ballard for the first portion of my freshman year,
Okay.
and then moved to an international school in Turku, Finland for about 7 months, and then cruised back with a cruise ship that was built over there, and then started back at school I think it was right before Christmas, like the week
Back here.
in the States, yeah.
Okay.
So during that time, I lived over in Finland. I went to school over there. I made friends who I'm still friends with today. I keep up with them on social media, which is great. But yeah, Norway is home in a way. I don't speak the language fluently.
Any?
I know a little bit.
What's podcast in Norway?
I can't tell you that. I don't think I know. It's a very hard language, and over here in the States, you learn like Spanish and French and German and things like that because that's more common here. I have family in Norway that always wonder why we never went and learned. My brother and I didn't get to learn the language, and it's because we didn't have anyone here that we could really talk to, and it wouldn't count for school. So, and it's way too difficult once you learn, your second and third language. Things start mixing together, and nothing really comes out one language anymore. anymore.
Could you imagine the reaction from your Ballard classmates if you threw some Norwegian at them?
I haven't actually tried. I love to give comparisons of like certain phrases that you hear, just to kind of give someone the chance to hear how different it sounds. And they were aware of that, and they knew that. In the brief time I lived in Finland, I took French, but it was translated into Finnish first and then to English for me. So when I came back to Ballard and I took a French class,
A little diluted.
it was very messed up. Like in the beginning, my teacher was like, "Yeah, you're doing great. Yeah, that's not French. I don't know what that was, but
She didn't know it.
She didn't, and
Really?
I was like, sorry, that might have been Finnish. I'm
Yeah.
sorry."
Gotcha.
So yeah, it makes sense.
That's pretty damn cool during your high school years to be able to do all that traveling.
Yeah,
I mean, wow.
I'm super grateful. By the time I graduated high school, I have been to more places, mostly in like the Caribbean and Europe and things like that, than anybody who may be like 2, 3 times the age of me. And I'm incredibly grateful for it. And I have like a travel bug now. I haven't really traveled anywhere except for maybe like Florida in the last 3 years. And I'm like, okay, I need to go somewhere.
I need to go out of the free 50.
I did go home to Norway for
Did you?
Christmas, so that was really nice.
Okay. So you still have family there?
Yes.
Like,
My dad's entire side of his
Gosh,
family is over
okay,
there.
all
So
right.
my grandma's there, and my aunts and uncles.
a hell of a
and
reason to
cousins.
go home.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Yeah. Digressing a little bit, one of the we're going to kind of go a little all over the place here, but just work with me.
Okay.
One of the 2020 Democratic candidates,
Okay.
Pete Buttigieg. You follow? He's the mayor of South Bend. Well, the reason why I'm bringing this up, he's a millennial, so
Oh, okay.
he's the only candidate out there that is part of this generation.
Okay.
So that's kind of a big deal. He's 37.
Okay.
But he had a great story. He got a hold of a book, and it was in Norwegian.
Oh, really?
He learned Norwegian to read the book.
Oh, wow.
So there.
Ugh, I need to be more like him.
Well, and then you'll be running for office in no time. Well, tell us. You're obviously that's a good start to the millennial thing. But what's Millennial LLC to you?
Millennial LLC is not only a business, but it's an opportunity for me to kind of show that our generation really isn't like a messed up generation, crazy generation as what we've been looked at.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. It gives me the opportunity to kind of prove to you that like millennial is not a bad thing to be. And I mean, over the last so many years, I've heard like millennials are crazy, this generation is a mess, things like that. And we're not bad. I just think we're figuring it out the way we want to figure it out. And with millennial, it's kind of like we're the generation of social media. We're the generation of phones, technology, things like that.
that's
Like
so-
a
yeah.
huge shift has happened. So like, why not name a social media consultation business after millennial? Because I mean, I will say I have to give credit to my mom on that name, because the day that we were deciding on a name, she like had it linked to something. It was like millennial marketing or something like that. And I was like, nah, millennial. It's just millennial.
Millennial.
So
So social media management and consulting company.
Yes.
How long has this been in place?
1 year, actually. So the concept was I had my 1 year about 2 weeks ago, I think, going on 2 weeks. But when it officially became a licensed company in the state of Kentucky, I think it's in June.
Oh, this coming June.
Yes.
Oh, well. Okay.
Yeah.
Well. Okay. What's your objective with this?
Like what I want to do, I don't know. It changes every day. I think that social media is not exactly a I don't want to say reliable, but it changes every day. You know, Instagram puts out new algorithms, makes it harder for someone like me who is just trying to help without wanting to pay, hundreds of dollars to boost a post to be seen. So I think it's a great opportunity for me to sit and guide someone more on a consulting side of things. Like, here's how you make your blog. Here's how, you look at your Instagram insights. This is what you have to do if it starts to change. So I want to be able to like educate and help others who don't really know what they're doing. But at the same time,
Older people, right?
well, it doesn't even have to be older people. I mean, I only know what I know because, well, I've been on social media now over 10 years. I think I got Facebook at 12. So That was 12 years ago. But I went to college at University of Louisville, and I studied with Dr. Karen Freeberg, who is a social media professor guru. I mean, she knows everything.
I've heard of her. Yeah.
And she's incredible. And I went to school and I learned it. So like, there's people out there, when I get on Instagram, let alone, I get messages all the time. Hey, we love your page. We would love to show you how to, monetize it and get more followers. And then you go to their page and they've got like 100 followers and like 5 pictures.
Yeah.
Or one actually this evening reached out to me and said that, hey, I manage these big accounts with like 1.3 million followers. And then you go to that account, it's got like 6 pictures.
Yeah, there's very little content.
And there's very little content, and there's nothing. And then I look at people who don't have a background in it, whether it's, my degree is communication. It's not social media, but I spent a lot of time practicing, going to school for it, things like that.
I've heard the stories where businesses have relied on their teenage kids to educate them enough to get them, to
Yeah,
get
which is a
enough.
great start. I mean, teenagers are going to learn. Like, I used to nanny, and I have cousins that are 10 and 12 years old, and they'll come to me and be like, have you seen this? And I'm like, no. Like, the new thing is like TikTok now. And I'm like, I don't have any idea what that is. I'm like, that is amazing that you can do that, because I can't. And then I feel old. I feel ancient because I'm not, caught up on that.
Well,
But
with my podcast, I'm 100. It's kind of weird because my podcast, my majority of my audience, 80% of my audience is Facebook.
yeah.
Is totally Facebook. And I've got friends who do podcasts who are strictly Twitter, maybe Instagram and stuff. But
Each platform is like its own monster.
Yeah.
It is its own animal. I have a Twitter. I don't really use Twitter. It stresses me
same,
out too
same,
much, and I'm like, no. But then
Yeah.
I had my professor, and a lot of the kids I went to school, or college kids I went with, they love Twitter. They live for Twitter. It's their favorite. And I'm like, no, I can't. Like, I like Facebook and I like Instagram, but I think it's because I get more wrapped up in like the imagery and the content, and it takes a lot. I feel like it takes a lot more.
Well, again, Twitter, what is it, 140?
Yeah, 140 characters or something like
and
that.
So there's that limitation. And I'm totally okay with not having an audience
Yeah,
on there.
I don't have an audience on there. It's maybe 1,000 followers, and that's it.
I've got the file, but I can post stuff on there and I won't get the interaction
Yeah.
that I do.
Well, each one has its own algorithm. So, like, I can post on Instagram, and I can get 500 to 800 likes, depending on did I post at the right time? Is it the right day? Whatever the algorithm is doing with Instagram or whatever, that's that. But when I post on Facebook, I'll get like 5 likes. Or 20 likes, because it's a completely different ball game when it comes to Facebook. And I look at people and I'm like, if you're only getting 5-6 likes on your Facebook, it's fine. At least you're getting likes.
But also, correct me if I'm wrong, a trick is the hashtags.
Hashtags work for Instagram. I haven't seen much of a difference if you include them in your Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook, no.
Yeah.
Instagram, yes.
Yes.
Twitter, yes.
Yes.
But Facebook, no.
No.
And actually, there's a pet peeve for people out there that use hashtags. You put a freaking hashtag on your post that allows people to find you. People make up these crazy hashtags that only that by a hashtag that it will never be found.
Well, I always tell businesses and brands and people that I work with, like
Tell
clients. I let clients know that when I come to them and they hire me and I go, here's your first homework assignment. I want you to go home and I want you to come up with
You have
5.
to tell them to go home.
Yeah, or go to your office, whatever works. Sit at your restaurant, and come up with 5 hashtags. 3 to 5 hashtags that you want to always have associated with you. So, like, mine is hashtag millennial girl. That is almost always going to be included. Now, lately, I've had hashtag Hodor Adventures because I named
Hashtag what?
Hodor Adventures.
Whoa.
My
That sounds weird. I'm going to get.
have you seen Game of Thrones?
No.
Oh, okay.
Zero.
It's a Game of Thrones reference.
Okay, gotcha.
With my knee brace, I have named him a follower on Instagram said I should name my brace Hodor.
So
now
have
I
you been
include
one of
that.
those people that have been blowing up my news feed with all these hashtag GOT?
I don't talk about it too much. If I watch it or I have a response to it, like the season finale I did.
Were you disappointed like a lot of people?
I'm a hopeless romantic. So like in some way, yes, okay, they wrapped it up in a bow. That's great. They made it come full circle, but they also left a lot of things open. But no, I'm not like a crazy diehard Game of Thrones fans. I started
literally
watching
people
it.
were losing sleep
Yeah.
over this.
I started watching it in February when I had my injury, and that was it.
See a
So
Game of Thrones guy.
he is. He's the reason I started watching it. My brother.
he is the reason.
My brother and family started it, but then he was like, "You have to watch this. You're
How
going
many
to make
things
you."
would fall under he is the reason?
I'd have to think about that. I
We'll
don't
get
know.
back
A
to
few
that. We'll get back
things.
to that. All right. So, yeah, social media again. Like with my podcast, I was telling you I'm closing on the shooting from the lip. I'm closing in on 5 years, and I do use hashtag. I do a hashtag lip, LIP uppercase,
Yeah.
and then lowercase nation,
Okay, yeah.
and it's been working.
I gotta tell you, your name is so creative. I have a client that is a political commentator.
Need some drink? Yeah.
He's a political commentator, and I told him about your podcast, and he was like, "That name is so great.
Yeah.
Why didn't I come up with that?" And I'm like, "You didn't,
Well,
so you can't have it."
Yeah. When I was coming up with names, one of the actually was a buddy of mine that suggested shooting from the hip.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, it's so cheesy. I'm talking because it was an audio at that point. How about lip? So that's how
It makes sense. I love it. I gotta tell you, it's a great name.
I like it.
It's
a
on
lot of people
it's
get a lot of
very
favorable.
creative. Yeah.
So, with millennials, doing my homework here.
Okay.
What are some of the? I was curious. How do you market to millennials? How do you engage with millennials? I want to get your take, and then I've got a website that's got some topics that are ideas or what millennials are into, so that these are the things you want to market to. But
It's hard to say. My age group on Instagram, my most popular is the 18 to 24, which is right my age on the cusp. And then my second age group is 25 to I think it's like 32 or something. I don't know. But then I think it also depends on if you're marketing to a male or a female.
now, is there a different level of millennials? Isn't there like a what? I mean, because I think
You'd have to look.
No, go ahead.
I couldn't tell you. I'm not 100% sure. There's like I think the higher, like upper level of the millennial, like older scale of them. I don't know where the cutoff is or what the right word is to say it.
That's why I got a.
But I would say there's probably, somewhere in lies a difference.
Millennials, Generation Y, 1980 to 1994.
That's mine. I was 94.
Yeah, same as my daughter. And then after that, 95 to 2012 is the iGen / Gen Z.
Gen Z.
And then right now, 2013 to 25 is Gen Alpha. What is mine? I'm Generation X. Okay. So.
Well, when it comes to like marketing, especially for like clients, things like that, I think it depends on the category that they fall in. Like bars are different than restaurants. People are different than those. Obviously.
Start with the bar. I'm curious.
With the bar, I've only had one actual bar as a client, and it's a little bit tricky, because I haven't exactly understood. Like some bars do exceptionally well, and I think it's because they're flashy. They show off like how many girls show up at their bars, things like that, and it does look like a fun time. But like I'm gonna be honest, I've gone to like one of the bars that I'm thinking of in my head, and I have hated every minute that I've been there.
Give me an idea. What street? I'm curious. Just say the street.
I just say in St. Matt's.
Probably my go-to then.
I don't even venture towards those bars at
Really?
this point.
Really?
No, I think a lot of the kids I went to high school with, it's almost like a reunion every time you go out
There's
over
a lot
there.
of,
And there's a reason I don't really associate with some people from high school. Like I don't care to really see them anymore. Not in like a mean way, but we all grow apart and
So
things
10-year
like that.
reunion, you're going back or not?
I mean, I'll probably go if we have one. Am I coming up on my 10 year? I don't know.
No, I'm just
2
saying.
years, 2-3 years. I've got 3
Yeah.
years. I have time. But I think showing that you've got several people you want to market to. Like some people don't like going to loud bars where you can't hear yourself think. So you got to show off that, like, here is an example. there's 3 different bars located in this location. So you've got like your, live music, your DJ on one side, and then you've got like a chill where you can like watch sports games, things like that. And then you've got this side where there's like, a pool table and, the basketball game that you can, I don't know what that's called, but the thing that you can play, and it's a little bit quieter on this end. So incorporating the different aspects of your bar, location, restaurant, even restaurant, show people having fun, eager to come here. Sometimes you have to worry about like if you have an image issue. I know years ago here didn't have the greatest image issue, so we had to tackle that coming into it. And I think it was just a matter of people just didn't want to come, and then like when they realized, oh hey, it actually is fun. Like I have girlfriends who never wanted to step foot in this bar, but they hadn't been here for 6 years. And then I was like, okay, you should probably come back. It's changed a lot. And now they're here. I look on their Instagram, Snapchats all the time, and they're here almost every weekend. So
and those youngins, they're not into live music.
I am.
Okay.
And I think that's where I differ.
A majority. I mean,
I know. They're into that EDM. Like you have to be like messed up on something to understand how to dance to that. That's how I feel.
It's DJ driven.
Yeah.
Because here on the weekends, they'll do live music Friday and Saturday from like early, from like 8 till 11. And then I'm telling you, at 10:59, someone is pointing to you, basically going 1 minute.
Yeah.
And because the DJ
is ready.
will come on,
Yeah.
and then the young kids start.
They start piling. The only
Good
time
God.
that like live music I think is really important to like people in my age group is if it's like who was here recently,
So kind of more
some
national.
kind of country.
Yeah.
When they do the queued up
Yeah.
concerts here, those are really big. If they bring in a certain artist out of Nashville, they tend to drag more people in because one, they're probably really good looking, so girls love coming for that. Or if it's more of like a country concert thing, then people will come for that, and it's
Trust
weird.
me, I know. My daughter's goes to those too.
But it changes all the time, and I think that's where it becomes a little bit difficult in social media because people's opinions are constantly changing. 1 minute something's hot, and then the next it's not hot, and you're like, well, we just spent all this money trying to transition to what everything is hot now, and now it's changed again.
Well, that's a good point. You're right. But give me the secrets. What's the secret or magic bullet to look ahead?
Look ahead?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, because shit gets trending stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it happens on a whim. And
There's you got to keep an eye on like what's trending now. So like Twitter always has that trending right now.
does Instagram have a trending?
It doesn't. It has an explore page where like the top
right, that's
things
right,
will
yeah.
pop
Yeah,
up
but-
on your
but
explore page.
Twitter
is like definitely
it shows up, yeah.
it shows up right then and there, so you kind of know. I think it just if you listen and you watch and you see what like I watch followers and like what they're into at the moment. I look, if I have a client who fits in a certain category, then I start looking at things that have to do with that. So like Louisville bar scene is a hashtag that can be used here, or even just hashtag Louisville.
Right,
like
yeah.
that brings
Same,
you so
yeah.
much. And there's some, hashtag more on Bardstown Road. So like hashtag Bardstown Road, like hashtag
right, yeah.
live music. I always did, those kind of things, researching into that, like what, there's a hashtag for Louisville specifically called hashtag things to Lou. And so it's I put that on every client that I have. It's like always hashtag you work with those hashtags.
There is a group that's Things to Lou, right?
Yeah, so there's a.
Are you you're not familiar with them?
No,
Okay.
I'm familiar with them. I've
Okay,
worked with
gotcha.
them before and talked to them. I mean, the person that runs that knows that I'm constantly using their hashtag. So, you kind of just
Great
gotta.
name, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? Like
Yeah,
where.
yeah.
I think another one is like Hello Louisville or something. And there's Louisville Scoop. That's a great one.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I love it. So I try to keep up with kind of what because they do really well. Those certain hashtags, which are actually linked to profiles, they kind of know what's coming, or at least they've kind of tried to see what's happening. So I try to follow those and see what's coming next and see how I can somehow incorporate that here. If there's a big event coming up, well, then I want to, fly on the coattails of that. With the hometown Rising country concert coming in September. Well, then you got to push for more country artists to get in around that time to get the excitement going. You know, there's
And all the other festivals.
yeah, all the other festivals, Bourbon and beyond. I'm excited about Hometown Rising because I'm actually partnered with them for a project. So they are definitely someone that I'm looking forward to see how they're gonna. It's their first year. I think it's gonna be a really. I go to CMA Fest every year, so I'm eager to see how that plays out
As
up
in
here.
Nashville?
Yes, as in Nashville. Yes, that's one of my. I can't go this year, but that's one of my favorite things to go and do.
Gotcha. You know, the other thing too, obviously we talked millennials and how into social media they are, but technology is huge for millennials. Why? Which is it cool because I mean obviously doing a podcast, I'm into the technology thing too. But
I don't want to say it without. Like, I don't know how to say it without being mean, because I actually have a big girl
it's
job.
not mean if it's true, okay? If you tell the truth, you're not being mean. It's just true.
I will preface this with I have a full-time big girl job. So I have one starting here in the next couple of weeks. But I've also, I have other forms of income that come in. So this is not my full-time thing. So I think with my generation, we're so obsessed with social media because we're always on our phones and we always are trying to compare to one another. And I've actually had to break myself out of doing that. Now he hates social media. I'm pointing to my boyfriend. He hates.
Actually, I do too.
Hates it. Like, just only has Instagram to look at
but
memes.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I use it I had it forever to connect with family and friends, that I met while traveling. And now every business is gearing towards the brand partnerships, working with that kind of thing. So like influencers is the big trend. I hate that word, and a lot of people are starting to hate that word. So I will always say I am a blogger. That is not as bad yet, but it's almost like everyone and their mom wants to be that. And
well, blogging used to be the thing back in the day, but now it's podcasting.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, this is my first podcast, so thank you for letting this be my first one. But I think it's fascinating because it's different almost than I would say than Instagram or social media or blogging, because you are face to face most of the time with someone. I do better face to face with people, so. But they're looking at me, but I don't know they're looking at me. Or I don't have to see myself looking at me. Like, Instagram stories freak me out. I don't like being on there because I don't like seeing myself. I'll do it sometimes if I'm at an event or I'm being, paid to show something, then yes, I'll do it. But I have a love-hate relationship with social media, and some days I wake up and I love what I do, and other days I wake up and I just want to log off of Instagram and never get back on.
Well, I'm gonna tell on myself when it comes to social media. I actually turned off my notifications from social, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I've turned them off because all it was, my phone was just blowing up all the time. And then therefore I stayed on my phone. So I turned off notifications and just forced myself to do something else and just say, at this time of the day, these times, I'll check my notifications. I'll check my social media. That's why I
took a job as a bartender. I bartend to not have to pick up my phone. And I work at a little hotel bar a few nights a week. I don't have to pick up my phone. Clients know I work these certain hours. I maybe look at my phone like once or twice and then check the time, or, for family or work emergencies, things like that. But I used to be addicted to my phone. You could ask my parents, you could ask family, friends. I used to always, my family at birthday parties, things like that, would joke. I have an uncle that would be like, "You live on your phone. You're gonna get off. We have a party here." But now I leave my phone on the charger. At certain things, I don't care to be on it. It used to be an attention thing. I used to.
Well, it's still. Well,
it still is. Yeah. For me, it used to be an attention thing. Like, I was validated by that, and now I'm like, meh, okay.
Yeah, I'm glad that you can say it and admit it, but unfortunately, that's the sad reality.
It
is. That what social media is. I cringe, when there's, God forbid, some mass casualty, out there, and people. And if this stings, my apologies, but one of the first things people will do is put out thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
The truth is, thoughts and prayers don't work, that's their way of putting themselves
Yeah.
into the mix to say, oh, then you're getting all these, and that drives me freaking crazy.
It's hard. I think it's in some way people want to feel like who can't do something that they want to do something. So like you could have a friend who had a family member pass away. Well, I offer condolences. I'm so sorry. You know, I'm thinking of you. It's not necessarily going to fix something, but it makes you feel like you're doing something. Yeah. For me, I have an ongoing gripe where with social media, especially with women, we try to say like our worth. We compare each other. I used to be in that mind frame, you know, even just a year ago. Well, I'm not on her level yet. Like I don't get as many likes. I don't. No one really comments on it, and like it's become a job. Even without wanting it to, it's become a job. And I have to take a step back sometimes and be like, that was a beautiful picture that was taken, or you know, that content looks great, or I wrote a really good blog, but it's not getting looked at. But that doesn't mean that it's not good. Right. That doesn't, just because someone else gets, it just hasn't 107,000 followers. That's fine. That's great. You know, there's people here in Louisville that everything is based off how their image is on social media. I look a mess off of social media all the time. If you saw me, like, people will be like, "Oh, that's you." We had
we probably could have seen that, but when you found out this is video, you elected to go get.
I needed to go get ready. Okay. We actually, it's a funny thing. We had a couple weeks back. Some actors were in Louisville filming a movie out in LaGrange, and they were staying at the hotel that I worked at. Yeah. And I gave them my business card because they were looking for locations to do some shoots, and I was like, "Well, here, I'll help you." You know, the whole hotel knows what I do outside of here. They know that I do blog, that I do work with locations and people here in town. And I gave them my card, and they pulled me up on Instagram, and one of the first words out of one of the guy's mouth was like, "That's you? Like, that was you yesterday?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know, I look awful, thank you. Like, I don't look bad when I go to work, but like, I don't look the way I look in some of my pictures because I was just like, thank you, I'm not sick, thanks. This is just the way I look." and this is just crazy. Like, now I'm going to point, I'm like,
can we call you a doctor?
Yeah.
Do you need a doctor?
That's my favorite. I don't wear makeup. They're like, "Are you sick today?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am. Thank you. Get away from me."
What's one of the rap on millennials is soft. You know, they're not. You know,
we're babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to cry in a corner. We need a safe space. I think
fair.
No. Oh my God. No. I hate that assumption about us. I don't like that we're looked at like we're. I don't even like that somebody is giving us that image, because we're not that way. I don't need a safe space when somebody has a disagreement with me, or we don't agree on politics. I sometimes don't see eye to eye on politics with a lot of people, and I just choose not to talk about it, but I don't go and cry that somebody doesn't agree with me. I think we need to get our act together when it comes to that.
Same. I do enjoy doing podcasts or topics of podcasts, politics,
yes,
religion. They're always fun and engaging. They can be with the right people. And I used to expand those pocket conversations to conversations like on social media. That just goes to hell, because the truth is, everyone's a badass on a keyboard.
Oh yeah, behind a screen, we're all super strong.
But those people who they won't, I encourage them to come on and let's talk on the podcast. They won't do it.
Yeah.
So,
and I would think that's a negative sign of social media, that there is a lot of cyberbullying that goes on. I have a younger cousin who has friends that she goes to school with during the day, and then she comes home and they go on social media and they call her a pig nose, or say that she's not pretty and she's fat and she should kill herself, things like that. And that is just...
That's fucking... Sorry. That's scary. Very scary.
You're fine. No, it's sad. It's scary. And it sucks that... I think girls have enough problems in the world with whatever equality or things like that. We don't need to be picking on each other. I mean, I went through bullying really bad in high school and even in college, and but a lot of it was girls. Girls have always been my biggest problem, and I've never had a lot of girlfriends. But I will say, on the same hand, I do have friends that are not here, but I've met them through social media. There are girls that if you see my Instagram and I'm at events and I'm pictured with them, there's like 4 or 5 of us that run together. And if it wasn't for what I do with social media, I would not have met them and I would not have that support. So it's a double-edged sword.
Gotcha. Winding down here, I'm going to throw a couple of trending kind of a pop culture topics at you. Look at that look. Because she's got the look of fear.
A little bit.
One of the things, for starters, your take on hashtag Me Too, because it's.
I don't want to get in trouble for what I say because I am a female. I think in some ways it has brought to light a lot of things that we don't see or know about because some people are afraid to come forward, which is a true concern. But then it scares me because it gives us the power to basically ruin somebody just based off what we say, because you don't want to be the bad guy who doesn't believe a female. The one who says, oh, well, she's lying, that didn't happen, blah, blah, and you don't want to be the one to go against her. So it's almost like you can't really fight it.
Right.
And then if you do fight it, you look like a bad guy. So I think we hold too much power with that kind of statement. So I think it can be a danger. But at the same time, it opens the doors for a conversation to be had. I just think we need to watch how often we use it, or if we're using it for the right purpose.
Is it getting a little out of hand?
I would say in some ways,
It's like
yes.
it's almost, people are a little trigger happy with it.
Yeah, I had.
And I'll say this because I got daughters.
Yeah.
And
it probably scares you, right?
very much scares me.
Yeah.
But at the same time too, don't disrespect my fucking daughters.
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think it's tricky. It's very difficult. If I recently was associated with someone who I explained a situation that had happened where someone was holding a job over my head in exchange for dating them, and this was a married man, and I said no. And I had told this, at the time, friend about it, and then later on we broke ties with each other, and she wrote a blog basically about me and said, well, I helped her with her Me Too movement and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that wasn't even a Me Too. That was just some guy being a guy holding a job over my head.
Exactly.
I mean, it happens everywhere, but that's not a Me Too thing.
Right, yeah.
That's not a rape. That's not somebody that hurt me. That was just, I was smart to see that I don't need to be, dating someone for a job. And I walked away. So I think women are quick to throw that around. And I will talk about it behind closed doors, but I don't bring politics to my blog or I talk about dating advice, things like that, but.
Well, there you go. Nice little segue.
That's about it.
Give me a couple of dating advices. Because I'm trying to get back into the dating.
Oh, okay.
Now keep in mind,
That's okay. My advice is to not use dating apps. So in the past, I've been on Bumble before. I've been on Tinder and all the different.
See, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because I have a little bit of an issue with kids your age on these dating apps.
Yeah.
Why do you need to be on a dating
You
app?
don't. Well, I will say this. Some people probably feel like we need to because the only other place that you can meet someone is in a bar. And how are you going to have a conversation with someone in the middle of a bar? Now, I will say,
But you have to put your phone down first.
Well, you do.
Yeah,
well,
saying.
I'm afraid I'm going to drop my phone, so it's always in my purse or my back pocket or something. But I think the climate needs to change in where we're meeting people, or people of my generation who want to date. It has to be a different way because Tinder and those apps like that are based off how you look. And that's
it's
very,
about as shallow as you can get.
It's shallow. It's superficial. I cannot stand it. So I met John actually when we went to high school together.
Did you all both swipe right?
No, actually we may have swiped on that app.
He's got this look like. Don't break me.
No, we met in high school and then full
Did
circle.
he go to Ballard?
He went to Ballard, yeah, but he
What
was
year?
What year? He's 2 years older than me, so 2010.
Okay.
So we met, we dated briefly, didn't work at the time, and then full circle came back around. He was working at the gym that I attended to, and if there's something I share on my blog, it's I don't know how to work out. I go upstairs to where the pictures are on the machines, and that's about as far as I get. And if it's not pictured, I don't do it. And so one day I tried a machine that didn't have a picture, and I asked him, and then we kind of just reconnected. So I mean, people do meet in the gym. People,
and let me guess, he was more than happy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he was more than happy. He's quiet
My
back
man
there
over
now.
there.
But I think it's very hard for my I think any generation now to date, because we judge everything based off the first look.
It is.
And we're not, and it's more of like, well, if I can get that from you now, I'll find somebody else who I can get that through. It's constantly changing. There's no, you're going through it right now. I'm going to help you through it. Like, I'm going to be there. It's like the minute that something starts to look scary, somebody's ready to walk away. And then it's not always going to be easy. So, there are guys out there, I think no matter the age, they're all still going to play games. But then you can meet one who doesn't play games, and you're just not ready for it. I think it's
She's on to me.
I think it's a complicated thing to talk about dating, but I do what I can to talk about it. And I think my advice is usually geared more towards women, but there are guys who will read my blog posts and they're like, that really helped. Like, it gave me.
You need to make sure you tag me on those from this point on.
I'll help you. I'll send you to them as soon as I leave. Like, here, you should probably read these. And it's amazing what that can do, because now I have girls that will, write me and be like, I saw your blog the other day and it really helped me.
Cool.
Like, I used to cling to exes, people that I dated, or not even people I dated, and I couldn't get over what they did because that made me feel like I wasn't enough. But realistically, they weren't enough. They weren't ready. They couldn't handle it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not that scary of a person most of the time.
Staying with the dating thing too, one of the things I caught this story only because I'm a Kentucky fan, University of Kentucky fan, sports. And a former Kentucky player is part of, what is he on? It's Bachelorette. Yeah, he's vying for the love on a Bachelorette. That kind of a reality TV show it's like swimming in dirty water. It's probably the best way I could put it, because it's so fucking sleazy. I mean, you got it. I mean, I really, there's no such thing as reality TV. I get that. It's scripted, and the producers, people are pushing.
I would say it's loosely scripted.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe even more. You're probably being a little too gentle, but there is a direction that the show wants it to go.
Yeah. To get ratings. Things like that.
Which.
Yeah. I mean. It makes my skin crawl now.
Okay.
I mean, like, my family used to watch it years ago when it was on, and I used to sit and watch it, but it never made sense. I get mad at guys who talk to me but then talk to like 3 other women, so why am I watching a TV show that's basically the same thing? Why do I want to see that? I don't want to see dudes cry over a girl. I don't want to see girls cry over a dude. Like, why don't we just make it a reality show about like dating in Louisville? It sucks, but that would probably be more entertaining than The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, and they all look perfect all the time. And what I noticed about this season is they're all dark haired and like brown eyes. There's not much. It's
not your kind.
It's not. No. Look at him. But I mean, there's not really a. Multiple types.
Yeah.
It's like one
gone
type.
that far.
I know someone who's on The Bachelor right now, or Bachelorette. I met him in Nashville like last year or something, and he's a musician, and he's great, and he's sweet. I never thought that he would go on The Bachelorette or anything, and I think it's The Good Place is a TV show. Have you heard of it? He introduced me to it. It's basically like not heaven and hell. There's like the good place and the bad place. And the TV show explains like the points that. Oh, it's really, really funny. I thought it was stupid at
Religious
first.
kind of tone though?
No.
Okay.
No. It's
Okay.
funny.
Okay. We can talk about it.
Yeah. I'm like trying to think who it's based off of, and I can't
But yeah, it sounds interesting, though.
But
Yeah.
one of the things in there, you go it's a point scale, and one of the things that you earn points on for the bad place is if you've ever watched or been on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, and
Really?
it makes me laugh because like that's like
There you go.
everybody.
Yeah.
But I can't stand the show,
No,
and
same.
so I don't spend that Monday night doing that.
I don't even know what nights, but I just know I don't. I never liked the concept. Okay. Final little segment I call round of shots. It's rapid fire Q&A.
Oh, okay.
First concert you attended.
It was
Let me
in
guess.
sync.
Getting ready to say something Justin Timberlake related.
I
You
was
just-
8, and it was here in Louisville. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was 8.
I digress a little bit. The first concert I took, my daughters, they were about that age. Hanson.
Wow. Okay.
I got into the
You-
bop
okay,
thing. I was
bop, all right.
yeah. We did. We
Yeah.
dug it. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I don't know. I don't really watch those movies. I have to be pushed to go and see Avengers.
Cartoons. I mean, did you watch anything? Anything? No. He's
Fly?
saying
He's
fly.
probably
okay, fly.
shaking
Well, that
his
is
head
that's
'cause
a
I don't
super.
pay attention. Fly. I don't
okay,
know.
fair enough. All right. If you were stuck in an elevator with a celebrity, who would it be?
Sam Hunt,
Okay.
man crush to the end.
Pizza fan?
No, him yes, me no.
No.
I will eat it.
Yeah. All right, but then I'll just. What's his favorite pizza topping?
Probably pepperoni.
Just pepperoni?
Yeah.
Nothing loaded? No. No, just
Oh no,
Oh, no.
pepperoni. I like cheese. I'll do like veggie. That's nice.
got it. Pet peeve. Pepperoni pizza. People
No,
like only
no.
pepperoni pizza.
I'd say snoring. Snoring drives me crazy.
Well, you don't have to worry about me. I have a CPAP machine, so that limited that.
Hey,
That's
hey,
part of it.
I think that runs in. I think a lot of people have that now. That runs in my family.
All right, last one. If you had access to a time machine and can go anywhere in the past to observe, not to change the future or whatever, or change the past, where would you go?
I'd say as of late, my answer would probably be Chernobyl. I've been watching that TV show. I know, weird answer, right?
I ask that question routinely. I've never got a I've never got a nuclear.
Well, that TV
fallout.
show. That TV show just started.
Is that Netflix?
It's HBO.
Oh, HBO. Okay.
I'm fascinated by it. I'm not gonna lie. We were watching that earlier. So
Are
it's
people with two heads? Like what's the
we haven't
fallout
gotten there yet.
Okay, got it. All right,
I
all right.
hear there's birth defects and things like that.
I mean, actually, it's real.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it was a real thing. So.
Yeah, I don't have much education on it, but watching the TV show, I'm like, well, that would be so crazy to go back and see,
Yeah.
and just to see what happened.
And I'm sure there's probably fallout still from that has been.
Yeah,
I'm a
he
big
knows.
I'm a big conspiracy guy.
Yeah.
UFOs and all that.
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
paranormal.
Well, hey,
So,
they can't just be us out here.
exactly. All right. Allie, thanks for hanging out.
Thank you. Thank
You
you
did
for
good
having
for
me.
your first podcast.
Thank you.
And,
Gotta practice.
He was like this, doing this. Very good. Thanks.
Thank you.